How's it going, everybody? Hope y'all are good. It's not been as long as last time. I'm back because Scorpio season just started and eclipse season just started and Mars retrograde. It's been intense, man. I've been asking people on Instagram and just like various friends and stuff. Everybody's going through it. It's pretty intense energy. It's not terrible. I feel like it's going to give way to some really beautiful transformations, but yeah, I mean, starting out, it's been pretty intense. I think we're just coming out of that, maybe about a day or so of it starting. So yeah, I just wanted to tap in. I just felt like I kind of needed to tap in and just kind of check in with you guys and make sure you guys are okay. We're just gonna do the usual. Take a deep breath, say your prayer, get started on the reading. All right, pray to God, Spirit, my guides, and my angels and my ancestors to help myself, the collective, and anybody watching for the clearest messages for the clearest messages of the highest good of all involved, in our love and relationships or anything that wants to come out. I don't know why I keep forgetting my my intro for some reason. It's just like the little discrepancies that keep messing up. Yeah, if you want to book a personal reading or see any of my excuse me, I can't speak today. See any of my other services, everything is in the description. I am going to be starting out today using the Sorcerer's Tarot. I have all my decks with me. I don't know if I'm going to use any other ones or how that's going to go. I'm just going to kind of go with it and just go with the flow. So let's just shuffle up, see if there are any messages that want to come out today. Give thanks to my guides, my angels, and my ancestors for any messages you would like for us to hear or see today. Okay, if it doesn't resonate, don't force it. It may fit at another time. Bottom of the deck, we have the moon. We got a stack. We have the Nine of Swords. We have the Fool. We have, you know what's really funny? Literally the last time I did a reading, the same exact dude on the small bike came by. Almost as soon as I started the reading, the same guy is back. I don't know if that's like a message or something, because he just goes up and goes around and comes back down. I don't know if that's a message or something. I just thought it was funny because it happened the exact, not like the minute I started the last reading, but it happened last reading. I thought it was funny. So back to the cards. We have a little stack. We have the moon, we have the Fool, we have the Page of Swords, Seven of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, Nine of Swords. So I had done a reading on Instagram. Well, I already did the reading, JStarotservice, but when I went to do the reading first, I forgot to plug my headphones in. So I was basically doing the reading, and I finished the reading, and I didn't really do much of the reading at all because the headphones weren't plugged in, so I ended up reshuffling and doing another one. But the reason I mentioned that is because a lot of the cards that came out for that reading are in this, which is interesting to me because I didn't know if I was going to speak on the message. The message that came out on Instagram was really inspirational. It was pretty great, but I feel like when we do the in-depth readings, we're still tapping into those same energies. And considering I could have kept those cards and continued that reading, I decided to reshuffle, but the message is coming out again anyways. So we're going to tap into that because we do a lot of love readings here. So if you haven't watched the channel before, welcome to the channel. We do pretty much just love readings. Other stuff comes out, but for the most part, this is what we do. And also I forgot I wanted to give thanks to everybody that like supports the channel and is always showing love, comments, and the donations and the likes and the views and all that stuff. I really appreciate it, especially when I'm going through my own stuff. You know, it's really nice to know that I have a support system, you know, through YouTube and through you guys and just connecting with you guys, and it's really nice. So I just want to say again, even though I do say it pretty much every video, but it's because I mean it and I appreciate you. But we're going to go and tap into these cards. And I also appreciate you if you're new here too. Welcome to the family. I know there's been some new people that have been showing up. So welcome. It's nice to have you here. Let's talk about the messages. So we have somebody who's caught in their head, okay? There's a decision to be made. I know we don't have Two of Pentacles energy, but there's a lot that's not being talked about between you and another person. Okay, we have the moon. Under that, we do have the Two of Wands. Under that, we do have the King of Pentacles. Okay, and then we also have the King of Swords under that. And then we have the Sun under that. We're going to go and we'll take one more, which is the Hanged Man. We'll keep it there. We're going to try to, you know, get through all of these cards here, but let's start out with what we have, the initial messages, okay? I feel like we're tapping into the situation that we originally tapped into for the last reading. That was, I mean, that's usually what we do, right? We usually will just, it's kind of like a story that we're telling. And because I'm only reading for like a small amount of people at the moment, right? I mean, it's not like a small amount of people, but like considering like collective reading wise, and for the people that I know that I read for that are always showing up and like just like consistently watching the videos, like I'm like comparing that to like somebody who reads for like thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. I feel like our collective is like a nice little tight knit, little group, and I really appreciate that. It's not like I'm not really doing this for anything other than to like help people at this point. So, it's just like really, really nice. It's like we're kind of tapping into this story that we've been continuing to tap into for a while, right? And so there's this Fool energy, there's this Page energy, there's Seven of Pentacles energy, and it's just kind of like where are things going, right? I mean, we have the other cards that are going to speak more about that, but I feel like somebody here is kind of in their head about it, right? Somebody here is in their head about whether or not they want to move forward with something. This could be something where you may have initially planted the seed, you may have initially decided to try to invest in this, but I don't feel like you were met with I don't feel like they're, really accepting your offer in any sense of the word. It doesn't really feel like that. I feel like the offer may have been made, whether or not that was, outright spoken. I feel like, with this new connection that we tapped into after the last reading, which was the calm after the storm, it was somebody new that was being brought in. I think it was like a divine connection, stuff like that. And keeping in mind that like even though a connection is divine and spiritual, those are just like terms, you know what I mean? It's just like blanket terms that we apply to our connections and relationships to help us understand and define them so that we can understand how to show up in those relationships regardless, you know what I mean? Especially if it's like a situation like this where I don't feel like there are any clear boundaries or understanding of where the relationship is going. There's no clear definition is what I'm hearing. It's like, yes, there's the opportunity, but the thing to understand about the Fool energy, it's not something like an Ace of Cups, right? The Ace of Cups is like a kind of solid offer based on experiential knowledge, going through the cycle from the Ace to the Ten of Cups, and then deciding to start again at the Ace. The Fool energy is the very first card in the deck. So in order to get back to that, I mean, you have to go through all the major arcana. I don't know what the last one is. I can't recall off the top of my head. I wouldn't say that knowledgeable in terms of like, the actual chronological order of the cards of the major arcana, but the fact of the matter is the Fool is the first energy. It is the decision to do everything again. Whereas like if you're doing just one suit, it's like you're doing the Cups again, like the starting the emotional cycle again. If you're doing the Pentacles, that can be like career and finances, is like starting that new business, or even with the Wands, like starting a new business or career, and based off of everything that you've been through, getting to the end of whatever cycle and applying those lessons. It's that same energy, but the Fool energy is a lot less. It's very, there's a word I'm looking for. It's like impulsive in a way, but not. I mean, this guy, in the card here, he doesn't look impulsive, but in a sense he does. It's just like he's got a few things with him, right? He's got his little satchel of things, and doesn't look like somebody who has really made a lot of plans. It looks like somebody who's a little bit strung out, a little bit impulsive. I just keep hearing impulsive, so I feel like there has been an impulsive decision about this connection. Whether that was on your end to decide to, give it a try, or on your person's end, which is what I'm seeing here, where there's no like solidity to this. There's the Page of Wands. This is not somebody who is very communicative. This is somebody who may keep an eye on you. They may be kind of like, if this is somebody you know on social media or something, or you have each other on social media, just kind of like keeping an eye on, what's going on. Like, is this a legitimate offer? I feel like is what's coming through. It's like there was an impulsive decision to, communicate. Whether that was to cut this person off, whether that was to, there could have been a little bit of ghosting going on. It just feels like something where something was made impulsively, and it doesn't necessarily feel like it was made with your best interest in mind. And I feel like we're kind of tapping into this person's energy, honestly, is what's coming through for me. It's this question of like, okay, it looks like they're in their head. This could be you as well, but this feels like somebody who's just kind of focusing on themselves, They're really just living their best life right now. I wouldn't even say their best life. I mean, the Seven of Pentacles is somebody who's really just working on themselves, really trying to enjoy what they do have. But there's just a lot of fears, okay? I feel like, you know, whoever it is you're dealing with, I feel like they do have feelings for you here with the Knight of Cups. There is a sense of emotion there, but it's not, you know, it's not developed, because it's not something where I feel like this is like a new connection that we've been tapping into here in your guys' experiences. And this is something where it's like, it seems to be something new. And because it's not fully developed or grounded, keep in mind the only pentacle energy we have right now is this. We do have the King of Pentacles at the other stack we'll look into, but we got the Seven of Pentacles, okay? And the Seven of Pentacles, it's a good energy to be in. It's not terrible. It's not like a 4 or 5 of Pentacles. I mean, keeping in mind, like 4 of Pentacles is kind of holding back boundaries, and then 5 of Pentacles is kind of being left out in the cold. 6 of Pentacles is coming back into that kind of balanced energy, and then 7 of Pentacles is right after you're coming out of that balance, right? Yeah, I'm looking at this, you know, moving towards the 10. That was what came out in the reading for on Instagram, is from the 9 to the 10, right? And so now what I'm seeing here is like you're moving into these 7 within yourself, within this relationship, as well as your person. There could be mirroring going on, but like I said, I feel like this person just has a lot of fear surrounding this, because they just maybe don't feel confident enough to actually provide what it is they think you're seeking. Keeping in mind the lack of communication is why I feel like the situation is where it is. We're going to look at this other stack though, try to get some better insight into what's going on here. Keeping in mind, like, we are in Scorpio season, eclipse season, so there is a lot that's going to be brought up. Particularly with, I made a post on my meme page actually, JStarotservice, talking about Scorpio energy, and because I have Taurus in my tropical chart, I have Taurus, Venus, Taurus, Sun, and Venus. I also have other placements, but Taurus, Sun, and Venus opposing my Scorpio moon and Pluto, right? So it's very. And the thing with opposing energies, if you understand opposing energies, or you have Taurus within your chart, Scorpio and Taurus are the axis of each other. So they're two ends of the same coin in a sense. And so the opposing energies, they're very, it's very indecisive energy in terms of like which way to go, how to do this, how to do that. And I do think we have some, if I remember looking at the chart, there may be some like opposing energies between, I think it might have been Venus and Jupiter or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not an astrologer to that extent, but I understand it enough to be able to speak about it. The reason I mention that is because this is the type of energy you're going to be dealing with, especially with why I feel like there's a lot of this push and pull. We have the sun and the moon. That's two sides of the same polarity. I don't know what sign the moon is right now. I mean, there's so many different modalities of astrology that at the end of the day, whatever you resonate with, I feel like is what should be, you know, you should follow. Like, we have sidereal, we have tropical. I have a Libra moon in sidereal, I have a Scorpio moon in tropical, and I resonate with both of those depending on, you know, the different connections and the different situations I'm in. Enough about my chart. Anyways, the reason I'm mentioning all this is because that energy is what's really drawing this out of you and this person and this relationship. This is what I'm seeing, right? We're going to take a look at these 3 cards. We have the moon, the hanged man, and the sun. And that's just like a what do you call it? Like being in limbo. It's like there's a lot being hidden. I don't feel like this is being talked about, but the opportunity is there. And it's almost like crossing a bridge is what I'm seeing. There's this need to just kind of be patient and gain wisdom on the situation. The thing about the hanged man, this isn't somebody who's out here taking action. This isn't somebody who necessarily even knows what they want. This is somebody who is trying to gain wisdom on what they want. They're trying to understand the deeper emotions they may be feeling. They're trying to understand what this would look like. What does a new beginning look like to you or this person? If this is a connection you continue to invest in, that's an important question to ask yourself right now. What do you need, right? What do you want out of this connection, and what do you need? And that's kind of what I'm seeing. It's like how do you want this new beginning to look? You know, can you envision a future with this person where it's balanced and healthy and all the things that you're looking for? And if not, that's the time to really take a look at this energy here and understand what it is you are truly wanting. I am seeing like the higher self and the shadow self, and I'm not putting that in a hierarchical format. But the reason I say so is Scorpio energy is it's not ruled by the moon. You know, like Cancer is ruled by the moon, or the moon is ruled by Cancer, but it's still a water sign, right? And that's kind of what I'm seeing here. This is like very watery, emotional, deep energy, and that is the energy that's coming up and why I mentioned all the stuff I did earlier about Scorpio and eclipse season, because this moon energy, excuse me guys, I'm gonna drink some coffee. Excuse me, the ice. I have not been using my voice nearly as much, so I'm like getting my voice accustomed to speaking as much. So yes, back to the cards. That's what I'm seeing here. There's a lot of depth coming out in this connection, and I feel like that's what this season is bringing out of us. It's like really understand the deeper, darker emotions that come up in relationships having to do with fears. But it's like I feel like there's a light being shown on that, and that's what this kind of hangman energy is in, or what is bringing up. It's like you this relationship and connection may be in a hanged man phase, but that's just so the light can shine on the darker emotions, right? The sun shining on the moon. We are in eclipse, and so if you want to think about the eclipse, I mean, we just had the partial solar eclipse, I think, yesterday. And so that's the perfect energy of that. It's like, it's the energy in between. It's understanding what's coming up and understanding where you're going, being between the past and the future. Just really being present with yourself and understanding how it is you want to move forward. Because I feel like that's exactly what's coming through here. I feel like there's wisdom being gained, there's perspective being gained in this situation with the Two of Wands. It's kind of trying to understand, okay, my voice, oh my God, guys, excuse me. Sorry about that. Yeah, I have not used my voice nearly enough, so my voice is just like really, really fresh. But gaining perspective, gaining wisdom on the situation. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. It's like, that's what the Two of Wands, it's like I guess there could be a decision to be made. I mean, I guess at any point in a connection like this, there's always a decision to be made, right? But it's like there's a conversation that needs to be had, but somebody here isn't necessarily having that conversation yet. And I kind of feel like that's what's going to shift the connection in a different direction. I don't know which direction it's going to go. That really depends on your situation. According to the cards, I'm seeing that it could go towards this. It could be, moving into a more committed space. I feel like once that kind of truth comes out, I feel like whatever it is that's holding back gaining perspective energy, really moving into a situation where you speak about what it is you want, understanding. I feel like you both know what you want. You know what you want out of life. You know what you want out of a relationship. And I don't feel like that's the issue. I just feel like there's just no communication. That's kind of what I'm seeing. And I feel like, I don't know, we're going to pull some more cards. We're going to delve into maybe with another deck. But I feel like that's kind of where we're at right now. That's as far as the energies are taking me, is this new connection. There's lack of communication. There's emotions. It's new. It's fresh. But it's like, now you're getting to the point of like, okay, well, where is this going? And I feel like more than anything, you're kind of getting fed up is what it feels like. It feels like with this King of Swords and King of Pentacles, that's just, these people don't look like happy people. Like, they don't, you know what I mean? They don't look like they are cheerful or anything like that. These look like people who are very hardened from life, people who have been through a lot, and people who have gained perspective. Like, it's like you've kind of been in this energy for a long time to where you don't even really need to make a decision. I feel like the decision will be made for you when you set your boundaries and your intentions, and should a conversation arise in that way. Let's go ahead and pull from another deck. My voice seems to be calming down again, so sorry about that. We're going to go ahead and pull from the Golden Dawn Tarot. I haven't used this in a while. This is like one of my favorite decks for, oh my God, guys, I'm broke. So sad. That's how you know I've had this for a long time. But I mean, I've had this is like my newest deck, and look how messed up the box is. It's crazy. It's such a destroyed box, and it's one of my favorite decks too. But this was my other favorite deck for a very long time. I use this deck in almost all of my readings and my dailies for a long time, and I really like it. It's one of my favorite decks. I like the energy of this deck. So let's go ahead and just get some clarity. Anything else that wants to come up in this situation? I feel like there's going to be a lot that's brought to light. I feel like you're going to be seeing a lot of things. I mean, this can be on social media. I just keep seeing social media, right? Maybe you're just like, I don't know, maybe you're just watching each other's stories at this point. You're not really talking much, and you're kind of trying to gain insight into each other's lives by watching each other on social media, and it's just so backwards. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be like rude about it, but it's so backwards, especially with what a relationship usually needs to be healthy and to move forward. Very backwards energy. But I feel like it's a mirroring energy. I mean, regardless of who did or said what. I feel like there's a lot of mirroring going on in that situation. Whatever it is I'm tapping into, we're gonna clarify. We're gonna see what comes out. Okay, guys, angels, ancestors, and spirit, thank you for any messages you would like to have come out for us. Clarify whatever it is that's coming up. So, alright, well, we did get some cards. Let's take those. Bottom of the deck, though, we do have the Ten of Cups, so that's not bad. I mean, it's pretty great. Well, it can mean different things depending on the context of the cards. I feel like every time I use this deck, I always get this card. This is this is essentially what this deck is based off of. This is like Kabbalah. If you're into Jewish mysticism, this is essentially the Tree of Life, and this represents the spiritual path. And all the Sephiroth are different. They have all different kinds of associations, right? So they have like the angels, tarot cards, astrology signs, numbers, you name it, elements. I mean, Hebrew characters. It's essentially the entire spiritual experience, and not even just spiritual experience, but you know, it's as above, so below. That's kind of where this comes from. So if you're familiar with that, and if you want to research that, you know, this would be a good thing to look up, you know, the Tree of Life. There's a lot of information there. The ether is moving down into the consciousness, moving down into the physical realms. And that's the process of manifestation. And you usually work through these on your spiritual path, and you work on different ones. It's a whole thing. It's a whole spiritual thing. But that's a conversation for another time. Under that, we have the Star, and then we have the Tower. And I'm going to leave that there. Okay, we have the Tower, the Star, Ten of Cups, Tree of Life, Ace of Wands, and the King of Pentacles. So, I mean, we got the King of Pentacles twice. This is the second time the King of Pentacles has come out. And so it just feels like there's a seriousness around the situation. I don't feel like this is something that's being taken lightly. And if this is, maybe you're not really moving in this situation with this person, it doesn't really make sense to me. It's just, not that it doesn't make sense, I just don't particularly understand the situation. I see the cards and I can speak on the energies, but it doesn't make sense to me why, if there's somebody that you're dealing with and you're both mirroring each other and you both have feelings for each other and you want to explore the relationship, why that's not happening. I mean, that really comes down to divine timing, I guess, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about here. We have the Tower, we have the Star, we have the Ten of Cups, and we have the Tree of Life. And I guess that's why the Tree of Life came out, because it has to do with the process and manifestation and understanding that everything has to move in its own time, right? But I feel like that's kind of the Tower moment here. I don't necessarily feel like it's a bad Tower moment. I guess inherently Tower moments themselves aren't bad. They're just, you know, moments. Right? They are things that happen that kind of will break things down that are keeping stuff like this from coming in. So whatever it is that's been kind of getting in the way, this is the energy. I'm pretty sure this is Scorpio energy too, the Tower. And if you see, they have the Tree of Life on, you know, different sides. It's just like the shadow, the light, you know, higher self, shadow self, however you want to look at it. I feel like all of that is being brought into balance. And whatever it is that's not been in balance is going to be, you know, broken down. You know, I find interesting about this card too, it's like the sun is what's kind of causing the Tower to fall. And if you remember earlier, we were talking about the sun and the moon, the sun shining light on a bunch of stuff. And I feel like you're kind of going to be gaining perspective on a situation. This could be somebody that's actually coming forward to tell you that they actually do want this. I mean, I don't like to instill false hope in situations where things may not be moving, but I mean, this is the energies that are coming through, and it's quite possible you could either be moving in a new direction with somebody else, or this person could be coming forward and actually offering you something very stable. And it's not just stability, but it's passion. It's the Ace of Wands. It's the desire to actually, you know, this is, I think, people would call this extending the olive branch, I guess you would. I don't know. I don't necessarily know the symbolism behind that. I just know it's a term that people use, and it has to do with, you know, making a truce, actually trying to work on things. And I feel like whoever it is you've been dealing with, you know, they are willing to work on things, right? It's this King of Pentacles, somebody who really may be a stable person, focusing on their finances, like really just in general, like an overall Venusian person. And what I mean by that is, like, a Venusian person would be somebody who is very sensual, in the sense of, like, you know, very sensuous. They find pleasure through the senses, like seeing, like, you know, art, music, food, like just living, I don't want to say a lavish lifestyle, but enjoying the finer things in life. I feel like this is somebody who is in that space where they are enjoying their lives as to the best of their abilities and really just appreciating what they do have in their life, you know what I mean? And I feel like this is somebody who wants to do that with you. That's kind of what it feels like. I feel like this is somebody here who's like, they want to come forward and say, hey, like, I feel like you both have a lot in common, and it's kind of what's coming through to me now. Again, this feels like somebody, they're just like, you know what, like, this is something that I've actually been really dreaming about for a long time. But more than anything, I feel like this is somebody who's going to come forward and try to see if you feel the same way. Not to say that you wouldn't feel the same way, but to see if you both have similar experiences. Oh, we got two Subarus. This is tight. No, it's not. No, it's not a Subaru. But there's a Subaru. This Subi is just driving through. He's got it all electric out. It's pretty tight, and he just keeps driving around. And I thought another one was meeting up with him, but no. Anyways, aside from the point. That's why I like doing the readings up here, because you get to see a lot of cool cars, and then you get to hear the cool cars while I'm reading, and yeah, it's pretty fun. I think it adds a nice layer to the video. Anyways, back to the cards. I feel like this is somebody here who is actually really wanting to see if you're on the same page. And I feel like this is kind of what this is surrounding. This is somebody who may be holding back, they may be taking things slow, but I feel like it's just because, you know, they don't want to go through what they've been through in the past. And I kind of feel like that's what the Tower is talking about too. It's like, not really wanting to have to continue to experience Tower moments to come into spaces like this. And I kind of feel like that's why the universe is placing us into this position with eclipse season and, you know, Scorpio season. It's to get us to really understand ourselves on a deeper level, so that way when somebody does come forward, you'll know immediately whether or not they're a match, because you know what you want and you know what you're looking for. And I feel like you're okay with things not working out with people because you know what you want. And if it's not really somebody that's resonating with you, or maybe things aren't really moving in a direction that you would like them to move in, it's not to say trying to control the situation, but more so just recognizing when something's not flowing and to let the Tower fall, right? Understanding that, like, if you let something go because it's not working for you, you know, new things will be brought in for you. Whether that's with this person or somebody new is kind of aside from the point. It's just recognizing that, like, by knowing yourself well enough, and we talk about this all the time, like, by knowing what you want and knowing what you're looking for, and not really settling for less, but also willing to compromise. You know, we've also talked about that too, like compromising in relationships, and not compromising your morals and values, but like understanding that, like, with another person, you both have dreams and desires. Like Ten of Cups and the Star, like, you both have your own, you know, visions of what a relationship will look like here. And I feel like a lot of a relationship is bringing those two visions together and creating a bigger third vision. Like we've talked about the third energy bubble, you know what I mean? We're going to go ahead and close it out though. I'm running out of time, so we're going to close it out with the animal messages. I've been actually enjoying this. I liked closing it out with the last reading. We're going to close this reading out. We got a few minutes. So, I mean, I'm just hearing that I expect movement and a conversation to happen to some degree. And keeping in mind, like, conversations, while yes, they can take place, you know, physically having a conversation, a lot of our communication with people is nonverbal, and that can also be energetic. That can also be through social media. And so I feel like you're going to be gaining insight and clarity. It may be a Tower moment. It may make you recognize that, like, you know, maybe this person really isn't for me. Maybe this isn't somebody I want to invest in. And, you know, at the same time, you may have somebody new coming in. You know, take it any which way it resonates. But I feel like at the end of the day, it's like you're going to be getting what it is you desire, so long as you're keeping your intentions pure and you're not settling for less, you know, not settling for the bare minimum, for the bare essentials, like understanding that you do deserve consistency, you do deserve communication, you do deserve the love and the things that you do desire, as do people that you deal with. And so it's like trying to understand whether or not you both can provide that to each other. Whether or not this is with somebody new or somebody from the past or somebody you're dealing with, it really doesn't seem like there's any past energy. I feel like this is a situation you may be in now with somebody, and it's kind of trying to figure out, like, okay, you know, how do we move forward from here? Are you currently happy in the situation? First of all, are they happy? Are you comfortable with each other? Do you feel like you're a good match with this person? Do they bring out, you know, the good side of you? Do they bring out your toxicity? Do they bring out your healthy side? What are they reflecting back to you? All of those things need to come into, you know, your, you know, perception, I guess, in order to make a decision that's going to be healthy. All right. So let's go ahead and we got one card out. I want to see if I can get maybe like two more or something. Okay, we got one more. We'll take that. So bottom of the deck we have Tiger. It says passion and adventure beckon. We got Cobra and B. Cobra says, change is inevitable, but with it comes the chance to shed a burden. Then B says, hard work is rewarded with responsibility and a sweetness that is shared. So, man, you can take this really any which way, to be honest, but it's something where it's like, I also got the octopus at the bottom of the deck. Octopus here. It says, travel across earth and over sea to securely embrace your dreams. So this could be somebody that's at a distance. This could be like a long distance type of connection, right? But it's like, I feel on it, there's going to be a chance to shed a burden with somebody. There's going to be a chance to kind of move away from whatever it is that's been burdening this connection, whether that's letting go of the connection to move towards something that you feel like you resonate with more, or to let go of things that have been holding this connection back. It's going to be different for everybody. I don't like to give absolutes because the energy and time are always fluid, and I feel like a big reason we watch these readings, I personally, is to be able to make more informed decisions moving forward in relationships and just life itself. And so I kind of feel like that's why a lot of these messages come out the way they do. It's to give you a deeper understanding of like what's going on, what can be coming forward to you, and whether or not you want that or even want to continue. I just feel like it's something that can really help you make those decisions before the tower moment comes. Like, you don't always have to rely on the tower moment for things to fall away. You can be the one to gently, let things go or go your own way, or to invest. It's really up to you. But I feel like regardless of whether you decide to move forward with this person or somebody new, you're still going to be getting the same amount of passion. Again, I just feel like this, like, it really just might be somebody that's at a distance. I just dropped my octopus card. Well, you saw the octopus card. There, oh, yeah, we'll get that after the reading because we're almost out of time. It fell beside the sea, but again, I feel like this is somebody that's like a long distance thing. It doesn't have to be like the longest distance. It can be just in another city or something, but it doesn't feel like somebody that's like really in your immediate space. And I kind of feel like that's why we got, the octopus card. It's like something where you may have the opportunity to meet up with this person, to have a conversation, to just get to know each other, keep things lighthearted, however it moves for you. But it's going to take work, and I kind of feel like that's the main message here. Like, it's going to be, with the B, to me, it's like the symbolism of like having to put in the work, but you're going to be reaping the rewards of that. It's like you're reaping what you sow, both in love and career and life in general. But if this is particularly a love reading, this is something where it's like understanding that should you decide to invest and put in the work, you will still reap those rewards. Keeping in mind that like you can have multiple paths to go in different relationships, and you will still get things that you want. It's just going to look different, and it's going to take you down different paths, which is why I always talk about why it's so important to know yourself and what it is you want before moving forward in a relationship. But regardless, I have to end the reading here, unfortunately, because we're almost out of time. But should you decide, this is going to be a beautiful outcome with somebody new or somebody from the past. But that's all I have for you guys. If you want to book a personal reading or see my other services in the description. But I love you so much, and I appreciate you watching. And enjoy Scorpio season and eclipse season, and I will see you in the next reading. Goodbye.